Good morning, everyone. It is morning here in Australia. Yep, today we're going to continue our energy balancing with faith review. So we started a few weeks ago. So if you just barely finding these videos, that's fine. The course is actually always open, but we go through it one or maybe half a week at a time, or 1 week at a time when we have our Saturday call. So Saturday in Australia, but it'll be Friday in the US. So it's 8 a.m. every week on Saturday. And it will depend where you are in the US, but it's around 4, 4 p.m. Utah time and 6 p.m. In the Eastern Standard Time. Unless we've got daylight savings, then it changes again. Anyways, I just wanted to show you what the energy balancing course is here on my website. Ignore the bar on the top. The black bar is because I own the site, so I can edit. But anyways, if you purchase a course, you have two options. You can purchase the whole thing for 3,000 something, and you can have lifetime access and view the videos anytime you wish. But the best way is to do the 10%. So you're paying 90% off, right? So you do that, but it gives you only 10 weeks to do the course. Okay, so it's only a 7-week course, and all of these videos, they're about combining them all, maybe 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. Some weeks will be 3, but you can watch it and do laundry, okay? And then rewatch some parts if you don't understand. And then there's some reading parts to it as well. But as you do it, it'll cross out and it'll open up the next lesson for you. Okay, the quizzes are very easy. There's just 3 questions just to make sure that you understand what you just listened to. I would go through all of it as quickly as I can and then go back and watch it and digest it slowly. So it's sort of like just having a quick, going to like a buffet, looking all around and seeing what's all available before you eat, because you don't want to fill up on one item and then you find out that's your favorite item over there on the other side. So just looking around at everything, and then when you go back, you can, slowly, watch the areas that you like. And then there's a companion book as well. The book is great and very helpful. I would recommend it. But even if you don't have the book, you can still understand the concept, because the idea is to help families, mothers, sisters, just learn these basic skills to start to resolve stuff. Okay. So just starting to use your power of choice agency to kind of resolve things in your life. That's the whole idea of what I hope for these families. Okay, because I don't want people to look at other practitioners and say, "Oh my gosh, those people are amazing. They can wave their arms. They can find all these things. They're so intuitive. They're just beyond me. I can't do what they do." So I don't want that. I want everyone to go, yeah, yeah, I feel this emotion, I can resolve it. And, this whole course just teaches you the foundation. I have a few people that come to me that already have a really good foundation of energy and healing. So that's great. So this here will help you explain it. I've had some practitioners who actually do energy healing with their clients, like their chiropractors and things. And one lady said to me, "Oh my gosh, the way you explain it is so much easier," because people, us humans, we overcomplicate it. Okay. And of course, everything has to be with faith, with the faith in God. So when you finish, you'll see the bar on top. It says 100%. It will register when you finish the last class. Okay, so you have to make sure you go all the way to the end. Sometimes if you don't finish a video or whatever, it still knows. I don't know how, but it's amazing. It still knows. So just let it go all the way through, do the quiz, and if you fail the quiz, you can retake it until you get it right. So it just lets you have unlimited redos until you get it right. So that's the benefit of this way we do this course, because it's not meant to fail anybody for fun. It's just to help you review, see if you understood things correctly. You can go back and find the answers and then take the quiz as well. Okay. So I had a lady who was determined that her answer was right, and she kept on emailing me saying, "Hey, the course is wrong," And I said, "Actually, the answer is there. Just pick it." And she's like, "Oh, all right." So every time she redid it, she tried to pick the same answer. I'm like, "Okay, come on, you already picked that. You know what's wrong." Yeah. Anyway, so any questions? All good. Yep. So this is the energy balancing course on my website, jadebolton.com. Okay, I also have the business building, natural wellness, gift of the earth course as well. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep on adding to all these. The energy balancing with faith courses all complete. So there you go. All right, guys. I will switch gears and we will get into continue last week's where we left off last week. Here we were talking about energy, intuition, vibration. So basically, we're very intuitive creatures and we don't realize it. Um, and if we paid attention, we will feel a lot more. But us humans, we want to um, use our own brains. Okay, use our brain to do things, to figure out things. But I have a saying, I guess, um, that kind of helps me uh, be able to get out of that and learn to trust my heart. And the saying is, if you have a new situation, you can't go through the old files in your head to find answers to those new situations. You need to talk to God to help you find new solutions for new problems. Does that make sense? So right now you're in a situation that's new um, to you, really, and you overthink and you think and you worry and you stress and you're looking for answers. It's never going to be there, right? We have to trust. So our spirit, I will call, energy. Our spirit is intelligent. It's always existed because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience on earth. My husband, he likes to play virtual games on the computer with his headset. And, he likes to refer to this life as that. You're in a simulation. Your pains, all of that is real, but it can be resolved, right? Even the physical body, even when we die, I believe that we can return home to our Father again in heaven, and we'll receive a more perfect body in the resurrection. Okay, so right now, everything is a design, a grand design for us to learn how to become more Christ-like. Okay, so I just want to show you like the atoms. Okay, the smallest particle of you, is like this atom, and around the atoms you have like electrons. Yeah. So and then you have neutrons, and then each atom has a charge. It has a positive and negative charge, but you can control it. You can change it as well. Okay, by the way you choose, by what you choose. Okay, and how you choose it. So that's powerful, knowing that you can control yourself. So the middle picture with a hand, that's a Kirlian photography. It shows the energy around us. So there's a special machine that can take imaging from your energy. Yeah, it's amazing. And they say that people who are positive have a greater energy, and we can sometimes refer to it as the aura. Have you experienced people who are happy and positive and they walk into the room and you're like, whoa, that person's got this big energy, big aura about them. You can feel them, you feel their presence. Yeah. See on the bottom, you see the cut leaf and uncut leaf. When they send a electrode through it, right? The cut part, although it's not there physically, they could still see it energetically. That's why they call it the phantom leaf. Okay, so it's that energy is still there. So your spirit and your body is, together, right? Even if physically some things are removed, the spirit is still intact. So that brings me to people who have surgeries, organ removals, say uterus, okay, or thyroid or gallbladder. Okay, so someone's removed it and you still experience the same symptoms and you're like, hang on a second, how come? Because that organ is not even there, all right? The spirit of that organ is there and you still need to learn the life lessons that it teaches you. So for example, the gallbladder, if you're still bitter, right, even though all that bitterness damaged the gallbladder, you still have to figure out how to not be bitter, okay? If you say, have your uterus removed, right? Every month you will still go through some sort of period. It feels like you have a period. Like my friend, she had it removed after she had her second child, and she was very young. She says that every month she goes through cramps and she goes through the moodiness. Same way, she doesn't have a period, but the body still acts and feels that way. Okay. So one girlfriend came to me at an event that I was hosting, and she asked me, Jade, what can I do? My front teeth are bleeding. Okay. So I don't know why it just keeps bleeding. And I'm doing all I can to take care of my teeth. And I looked at her and I said, those are, the reflex points for uterus. I asked her, do you have any issues with uterus? And she looked at me like in shock. And I asked her, what's going on? And she says, Jade, last month, my doctor found some sort of, growth or whatever in her uterus. And he suggested that she book a time in and have her uterus removed. And she was just obedient. She did it. And she didn't even get a second opinion or anything. She was just like, yeah, sure. And, did it. And now she realized she rushed it and she's a little bit upset. And yeah, anyways, I said, yeah, that kind of is something that you need to resolve. Isn't that interesting? You still have to resolve the issues that come with that. So it could be creative insecurity. It could be shame. It could be a lot of things that are, in the lower chakras. Okay, chakras. So that's how we are. We have people who had limbs removed. Okay, like my friend, his one leg was amputated because of an accident, and he says he can still feel that leg that was amputated. So, I suggested put a mirror, all right, in between his legs, and then look in the mirror and scratch the other leg if he's itchy, right? So his brain will think that he's scratching the missing leg, and that will give them like relief you guys ever heard about that? Yeah.
Never. No.
Yeah. So when people go, oh, I don't have a thyroid anymore, I don't have, this organ anymore, even though physically it's gone, it's still there spiritually. So they still have to deal with it. It's sort of like God says, no, no, you can't cheat. Right. This lesson needs to be learned. Right. People will say, I don't have a thyroid anymore. I say, well, we still need to treat it. Yeah, we need to help you speak truth, help you speak articulately, help you speak, with courage, right? And, positively about yourself, about others, something, help you speak up, right? So, gallbladder, help you see sweetness in life. Yeah, we still have to do all those things. This was a interesting story. I heard this guy, he had amputation, one of his fingers. He kept his finger in a liquid downstairs in the basement. Um, and the thermostat was broken. Um, Anyways, he didn't know, but it was very, very cold in the basement. So one day he felt like his finger was so, so cold. And he went downstairs and realized that, yeah, the heater was broken downstairs and his finger was kind of really cold in that jar. It's so funny. It's detached, but he could still feel. So it's just so interesting. We're all connected to each other. We all feel each other, right? But when we're talking about our physical body, I mean, it's just so powerful. So, anyways, just have a think about that and talk to God more and get more understanding. It's just amazing. So on the right, you have two pictures of um, Masaru Emoto, his work. He just takes pictures of water. But before that, he would talk to the water or label the water. So it comes from the same source. Like this one comes from the same source, but the top one he says, "Let's do it." Okay, so that's kinda gentler, but he said in Japanese, and it doesn't matter which language. It's the intention behind it. And then when he froze it and he took pictures of the water, um, the crystals, water crystals, it was symmetrical and beautiful. But the same source of water, and he says, do it, kind of commanding, right? Not polite. The water crystals didn't form symmetrically and beautifully. Can you see that on the bottom? Have you guys ever heard of that before? And this guy, the scientist, he's done this all over the world. He did it with rock music versus classical music, right? And the crystals it forms, right? He did it with lake water and tap water, and all of this. It's just really revealing the energy of people. Throwing this rubbish into the waters, into the tap waters, and we'll consume it. That intention is inside of us, right? Right. Or the opposite is, if you bless the water, bless things, and be grateful, the crystals change. Yeah, even if it's polluted water, if you pray over it, bless it, and thank it, the crystals change. So, what does that mean for us? We are 70 to even 80% water. Okay. So, imagine if you looked in the mirror and you hated on yourself. gosh, I'm fat, gosh, this, gosh, that, my face, my nose, I don't like this about this and that. Imagine what message you're sending the cells of your body. Okay. We are so powerful. We actually create haphazardly sometimes, right? So that means we're creating all this trouble and terrible things without even knowing it. But we're so powerful, we created it, right? So instead, when we're aware of it, we can master it, right? Make some rules for yourself and say, I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to be patient with myself. Okay. Um, and then when you're kind and patient with yourself, you're kind and patient with others. Louise Hay says that when she gives a presentation, she never critiques her work the first day. She praises herself. She showers herself with lots and lots of praises that first day. Good job, me. Things went well. People liked it. Fantastic, right? And then the next day, she says, okay, let's look at this. Let's see where I can go better, where I can do better. Okay. Um, Instead of, oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing, coulda, shoulda, woulda, this and this and that. Right. And then you make yourself feel bad, and then you make your organs feel bad. Right. Or when you have a situation, every situation that I have, I tell myself the rule is this is a beautiful lesson in love. Look for the good. And then later on, I can say, okay, what can I learn from the bad? But I don't want to lead with the bad. Okay. So start with all the good first so that you can recognize that there's a good side to this first. Right. Then you can slowly figure out what can I do better. All right. Your pancreas will absorb more sweetness, okay, and metabolize sugar, which helps with weight, so much better when you can let yourself see the sweetness of the world and metabolize sweetness. When people thank you and praise you, you receive it. You don't deflect it. You don't push it away. You say, thank you. And, pretend that they meant it for reals. And maybe they do, right? But sometimes we're so hard on ourselves that we're like, oh, they're just trying to be polite. Okay. Just take it on. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Receive, absorb all the goodness because it's our choice. So think about these things, these truths, those scientists trying to reveal this, truth to us through their experimentations, through their machines and equipment. But all of this we already know. God already told us that we have spirits and our spirit and a body. Yeah, but we need to find out for ourselves, don't we? So what are your thoughts? Any questions even? One more thing before I move on to the next slide is we have, they talk about energy vibrations. Okay. Everything has a vibration. Some things have a very low vibration. Some things have a high vibration. Even the table you're sitting at, the chair that you're sitting on, it all has vibrations. Okay. Um, color has vibration, right? There's waves, um, infrared and ultraviolet. All of those have vibrations. But when we vibrate high, and then people talk about feeling high. Generally, that's because we received more light. We allow more light in, and light is love and happiness. Okay. So some things have very low vibrations. I wouldn't use it. Marie Kondo, how she says, do things, wear things that spark joy. So if you have pieces of clothing in your home, in your house, when you hold it, it sparks joy. When you wear it, it sparks joy. Then keep it. And if something else doesn't spark joy, it makes you feel like, oh, once upon a time when I was so skinny, or whatever, it doesn't fit quite right. I'm really uncomfortable in it, but it's a pretty color, right? Then just give it away. Say thank you to it and give it away. Okay. Because if you imagine waking up every day wearing one of your favorite things all the time, right? Every day, um, favorite shoes, favorite shirt and dress and whatever, favorite handbag. Yeah. So you're not like settling for a little bit less and be okay, right? With life. Imagine if you can allow yourself to be high all the time. Or something in your house that's like really ugly and old. You're like, really? Do I have to keep it? Right. Throw it out, give it away. Okay. Say thank you to it for its service to you. Give it away. I give my girls this suggestion when we go shopping. I have 4 girls, and believe it or not, they're not big shoppers. um, but when we do shop, we pick up an item and we go, oh, this is so nice. What do you think? And usually I say, do you love, love, love it? 3 loves. And so that's a good measure. They look at it and they say, well, I love it, but I don't love it, right? So 3 loves. So nah, put it back. And so usually when you see something that you love, love, love 3 times, you know it. You just know it. Sometimes you walk into the store, you try it on, and yeah, for sure. You grab it right away. You just know for sure. Okay. You don't even have to think about it a lot. And the fact that you sit there and think and think and think and think, it tells you you may not love it as much. What do you guys think about that?
100% agree with that. Started to only buy things that I really love, because I tend to accumulate a lot of materialistic things that don't bring that joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Celine. And even like throw things out, as in if I buy a new pair of shoes, I have to find an old pair of shoes that I don't wear as often and I throw it out because I don't want it to start accumulating, because you are the master of it, not it being a master of you. And so what I mean by that is when you have a lot of shoes, you have to buy it a shelf. You have to buy it a container. You see, you have to take care of it, right? But it's there to serve you. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got it tickled. All right. So let's move on from here. So let's talk about muscle testing a little bit. A friend told me it's like your reptile mammalian cortex, the brain, part of your brain. When something's true for you, it fires. And then when you test your muscles at that time, it's strong. So you can make a little ring, and then you can say something true, and then you can try to break it. What I tell people is you want to start with a baseline and program yourself. Okay. So it's like, explaining to people what we do. I tell people it's like tapping into your subconscious mind, right? To find some beliefs, because those beliefs drive actions. Okay. So just what's the truth behind the things that I'm doing? So your intuition is the highest. Sometimes people know before they even muscle test. If I say, "Oh, do you think this is inherited from mom?" They're like, "Yeah, I already know it's from mom." But then you can muscle test as a double check, right? And I tell people it's kind of like a lie detector. The lie detector is this machine that you plug in, and they measure the changes in your body. So your heartbeat is changed. You look a little bit different, and then it registers. So you're the same way. We just haven't been trained enough to be super intuitive. But the more you learn how to muscle test, the more intuitive you are, then the less you need to even do the muscle testing. Okay. And the quicker you are to make decisions because you trust your heart, you trust the intuition. All right. And if you are connected to God, you hear him much better all the time. Okay. So I feel like this is a really important thing to teach children. Um, I teach my children this, and sometimes when they have issues, I ask them to muscle test, and I kind of guide them through the questioning. Okay, so is this really your stuff? And they test, oh, no, it's not me. Is this inherited from your dad's side? Is this inherited from your mom's side? And they can just test. Okay, so, sometimes when people argue, for example, is the argument about the thing that they're arguing? Most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, they're projecting, right? As in, they're nervous or they're guilty about something, and then something else happens, and then it annoys them, and then they get into a fight over that one thing. But it's not about that one thing. It's really about the original thing that is in their heart. Okay, and those things are mostly about what whether we're loved, whether we're accepted. But we'll talk about those things later. I'll tell you about them. So I help my children do this so that they know that when they're disagreeing with each other or whatever, it's not about that disagreement. It's about whether the other one loves this one, whether people love and accept you, whether they agree with you, because agreeing with you means they love you, right? It's just our need to be loved and connected, right? So it's not about any of those things on the surface. This way, it's easier for my children to be humble and to seek for resolution quickly because they feel that discomfort, and then they're like, oh, yeah, I know. Let's find out what this was really about, right? So it's a great skill. What do you guys think? All right. So if you are muscle testing, you're asking yes or no questions. We're not asking for a formal answer. We're deducting. Okay. I tell people pay attention to your heart. If you're using your fingers, that's great, but it's not in your fingers really. It's actually the feeling is in your heart. It kind of runs up your arm to your heart. When your heart feels like yes, that is a yes, or that's no. Okay. Yeah. And I tell people it is actually, you can feel your gut as well, right? Your gut will be the second witness, it'll testify. Um, Set yourself aside. I tell myself, say that exact line. I'm going to set myself aside. I'm going to connect to you. All right. Or I'm going to set myself aside and connect to God and the divine when I'm muscle testing. Okay. So I'm not in my head and I'm not making it go strong or go weak. Okay. Do not overthink. Right. Was that a strong yes? Was that a no? You can ask it the opposite way. You say, um, so do I believe I am enough? And then you're like, oh, it's breaking, so it's no. Do I believe that I'm not enough? So say it in a different way so that you can get the answer as well. Okay. Um, And then practice asking good questions. So that's subjective, isn't it? But as you practice, with the community, as you read through the books, you'll get better and better at asking your questions. So, for example, you say, do we have emotions to clear? And it could be yes, but emotions can mean 2, 5, 10, right? So you can say, do I have more than one emotion to clear? Yes. And then you can say, which one emotion do I start with? And then you can ask about that one. You see what I mean? Because sometimes you might go all over the place because your question isn't specific, right? So, as you practice this, you'll learn to calm your mind and you learn to have a little bit more peace in your heart. So your heart is just um, not troubled, it's just relaxed. And then you're able to feel the answers. How do you guys feel about muscle testing? Do you guys know how to do it?
I tried when standing up with Sandra
Yeah.
last week,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was very, very interesting to see how immediately the effects of muscle testing
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Um, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People can muscle test your legs, when you're lying down and your chiropractor's like saying, lift one leg up and let me ask questions, and they're trying to push it down. They can sense when it's strong, when it's weak, when it's strong, when it's weak. So some people, their fingers are so just practiced that they can sense the difference between strong and weak immediately. Muscle testing with fingers is the fastest way because, you don't tire as quickly. But yeah, Celine, that's the best way. I always start people on the sway test. When people are new, I start them on the sway test and I tell them, program yourself and say, um, okay, I want to sway forward for yes. I want to sway backwards for no. So, brain, subconscious, forward for yes, backwards for no. And you can say to yourself, show me yes. Okay. And then your body should lean forward. So I tell all of my friends just to stand up, relax your shoulders, relax your hips, just spread out your legs a little bit, just spread it apart, and then just stand there and then just pay attention to how your body moves. Okay. So sometimes people's yes is forwards and backwards, like the way we nod, right? And then sometimes people's no is swaying sideways. Okay. But I tell people just to start with move forward for yes. That's just a very simple, short answer. And then move backwards for no. And I think maybe 90% of the time people do forward for yes, backwards for no. When we say that, we have 10% of the time, we have one or two people, they do the opposite. Yes is back, or back and forth is yes. Okay, so when that happens, I use balance oil on my hands, have them smell it, and then I rub my hand up over their crown, down their spine, and just do that a few times, just kind of like just reset the energy. And I said, now try it again, because the energy is probably backwards or the opposite. And I think they're opposite because sometimes these people are so used to being told what to do, and then they're contrary. They're set on contrary. Okay, like growing up, mom, dad keep telling me what to do. I was a good girl, but then now I don't want to do what everyone else tells me to do. And so they kind of do the opposite. And so we're setting them back to saying it's safe. It's safe to just go with this, right? And then they reset. But the majority of the people, like pretty much everyone can get to the sway test, but the majority of the people, they do forward for yes, backwards for no. And when people feel that already, then they go, oh, I can do it. Okay. Um, because I don't want people to say, oh, you're so special, you're so intuitive, you can use your fingers and you can figure stuff out, but I can't. All right. But once you get good at this way test and you learn to feel your heart, you learn to feel this intuition, then you can, transition to, double ring. So yes for strong, weak for no. So one hand will, one ring will break. It doesn't matter which one. Okay. Or you can just do finger in ring. You can do that, or you can stick your arm out and then just push it down. So if you're doing it to another person, then you can, do it for them, their arm. But when you do it to yourself, it's kind of a lot harder. So, I would stick with the finger in the ring. Okay. And then just try to break like that. Okay. That would be the best. Okay. And the easiest. And sometimes when I'm driving, I have to, do a little, finger straight out and then push down with the other finger. So when I still need to, I'm thinking about something and I really want to test it, because you want to say, hey, do I have a belief about that or false belief about that? I want to know now. So when I'm driving, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about something and I'm like, oh, yes, yes, no, no. Oh, that's a false belief. Let's clear that. Okay. So I think situations come up and then you think, oh, do I think that way? Yeah. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so keep practicing, practice that on yourself and others. And I wish if we were in person, I can show you how it works. But you can imagine, and when we do video chats with each other, I'll be able to show you more as well. Okay. All right. So here's some rules, rules for muscle testing. Okay. So you can test this. What emotions you need to resolve and where they come from. Okay, so you can say, oh, is there a pattern from my family that I need to, let go of? What essential oils, food, or supplements you need, and how much and for how long? So, you can find the oil that you need. Do I need frankincense? Oh, yes, I do. How many drops? 1, 2, 3, 3 drops. How long? 1, 2, 3, 3 days? Oh, no, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay. Um, you see what I mean? And then you can say, where do I put this? Do I put it on topically? Yes. Okay. So is it upper body, lower body? Right? On my feet? Yes. Okay. Or do I take this internally? Yes. Right. You can ask, do I take this internally in the morning? Yes or no. Okay. So you can find out all of that. Right. Because we're all different and we change from day to day as well. So sometimes like a practitioner might say, oh, you need this for 5 months. But what if you need extra today and not as much tomorrow? Because you're intuitive, you will know how to adjust each day yourself. So that's powerful. Okay. So whether you subconsciously hold on to a belief or a thought. So if you say, do I believe my body's broken? you know, yes, I do. Even though you might say, oh, my body, it's smart and intelligent, and because you read it somewhere or you heard it somewhere, and you go, yeah, yeah. But deep down inside, do I believe that my body's broken? Other people's body works, but not mine. Okay, so you're like, oh yeah, and you can say, oh, is it mine? Oh no. Is it from mum's side? Oh, yep. Okay, and how far back does this go? And then you can say 1, 2, 3, oh, 5 generations back. Okay, so it goes 5 generations back on my mum's side, people thinking that their body's broken, that it's just not functioning properly. I see, I see. You see what I mean? So you can ask all those questions and your body can tell you. So it's like cellular memory, right? Your cells remember, and it remembers, you know, patterns from ancestors as well, because you've inherited it from them. Okay. And that's where sometimes people think, oh, they have past lives. No, I don't believe in that. That makes it all so complicated, and it's confusing, but it's more than that. It doesn't, yeah, it's just going to be conflicting to some of the things that we discover. Okay, so I truly don't believe in that. Okay, and we can ask whether something is good for us or not. We can say, I'm picking up this loaf of bread, and I can't decide between this loaf or that loaf. So we say, is this loaf good for me? And then your body says yes or no. So pretend it is yes. You can say from this on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being great, 1 being lousy. Is it 1 good for me? 2, 3, 5, 5 good for me. So it's like kind of not, it's in the middle. So, okay, how about this loaf? Is this good for me? Yes. Is it 1, 2, 3, 8 good for me? Well, then I'm going to buy this loaf. This loaf of bread is better than that loaf of bread because this is 8 out of 5 versus 5 out of 5, 8 out of 10 versus 5 out of 10. So you can do that. So yeah, go into the grocery store and you can pick up things and sway away. Yeah, just don't be weird about it. um, anyways, and then other things on your mind, anything that has to do with the mind and the body and the spirit. Do I have a fungus in my stomach? Do I have a parasite in my intestines? Whatever, okay? And what is the function of my liver? Is it more than 50%, more than 70%? You can ask those questions and your body can tell you, okay? So a lot of people tell me things like, I just feel like the doctor's wrong. He says this and this and this about this organ and that organ, but I feel like it's not. So I had a lady, she was told that she has 15% heart function. She's not supposed to do any work. She's not supposed to lift, but she has a disabled daughter she needs to take care of. And this lady is in her 80s. Okay, so her daughter is about 50 something, and she's disabled. So he has to make sure this daughter is fine. And this lady, she's like, I can't not get up. I can't not walk around. I can't not help, right? And she says, Jade, I don't believe that I have 15% for heart function. I couldn't be walking like this. I couldn't be, do all the work that I'm doing. And I helped her test her heart function, and it was a lot higher. So, yeah, I feel like we can trust our intuition, right? And because it's a lot higher, this lady, she helped build a granny flat in the back of her house. So amazing. She's in her 80s. So it's just beautiful that what we can do. Okay, so what we can't test into the future, can't predict the future. Okay, will this happen? When will that happen, right? We can't pick lottery numbers. Okay, we can't ask about what house should I buy or invest. I mean, we have prayer, can talk to God about that, and please bless me, help me make good decisions. Okay, we can say, does this house feel good? Have good juju for us, right? But yeah, we can't be asking those questions. Should I marry this guy? Which winning sports team should I go for? And anything that's really impossible for a person to know. So yeah, those are the things that we can't test. Right. A lady told me, hey, we could totally abuse this power, Jay. Now that I know how to do this sway jazz, we can totally abuse it. Does that person hate me? I'm like, no, we can't. Yeah. You do you test you and stay here. Okay. Yeah. Does that make sense, guys?
Perfect sense. Thank you.
Yeah. It gives me hope. It helps me feel like, you don't have to rely on some expert out there that doesn't live with you. Like that person doesn't know how you eat, how you think, how you behave. And then they say, oh yeah, your heart is like this and your liver is like that. And yeah, go fix it. And you feel very empowered when you can go, wait, let me find out what's happening inside of me right now, right?
Yeah, it's like that mother's intuition, right? Like,
Yeah,
they really truly know what's wrong with their child.
yeah,
And like they won't stop until, they get to the bottom of it.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
just
That's a
heard
really good analogy. Yeah,
yeah.
I still feel more like this child's telling me just this much, but I still feel like there's something else. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And you get to the bottom of it, and it feels amazing because you did it. And we should be able to do. We should be able to trust our body enough to figure out these things about us. Yeah, I love it. All right, guys, so I'm going to stop the recording so you can ask questions off the record and feel free to show your videos and stuff, okay? Thank you guys for watching.